bring in the Fox News political insiders. My happy place. John LeBoutelier, former Republican congressman for New York. Pat Caddell, a former pollster for President Jimmy Carter and Fox News contributor. Doug Schoen, former pollster for President Bill Clinton and Fox News contributor as well. And they are all here at the same time, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about the brand new Fox polling. Let's pop up how everybody is doing. First, we'll look at the Republicans in the state of New York as we roll into this next primary here. Trump on top, 54%. I don't know that that's necessarily a shocker, John. What are your thoughts?
Trump's going to win New York. He wants to be above 50. He wants to be above 50 in all 27 congressional districts. He can sweep almost all the delegates. That's what he would get them all, and I think that's what he's aiming for. And his two opponents don't seem to be getting any traction here at all.
Yeah, Ted Cruz in third place, although he's getting more delegates. He is tightening up. We're seeing that this weekend.
In other states.
In other states. Okay. Yeah. Real quickly, let's pop up how the Democrats are doing in New York as well. I don't know that this is a huge shocker either. By the way, Clinton and Trump are right around the same amount of percentage, right? That's interesting.
Here's what's going on. With Sanders having won 8 of the 9 most recent Democratic caucuses and primaries. The real question, Harris, was would this provide momentum in the key state of New York for Senator Sanders? So far, the answer is absolutely not, because there were polls before last week that had the race 10 points. So this is very good news for the former Secretary of State.
Why do you think he's not picking up steam? I mean, 8 of 9 contests would normally make you sit up and think, except for with all those superdelegates, which I have long thought probably have red capes.
Well,
it's really not even a fair fight. Is it a real fight? Is it a faux fight?
So far, it looks to me like a faux fight, because Senator Sanders is not using the issues and themes on which he can beat Hillary. To attack her for not being qualified is a bad mistake. To not use ethics, trust, transparency, questions on which she is very weak, is a profound, profound mistake.
Pat?
Yeah, I agree with that. First of all, it's an important primary because he keeps winning primaries, but he keeps not getting the delegates because the system is so rigged with superdelegates.
You know who you sound like?
Who?
Donald Trump. He says the same thing.
Well, no, but I'm a Democrat. I can tell you how rigged.
But isn't it rigged on both sides?
It's rigged on both sides.
That's what he says.
That's right.
It is rigged to deny the voters a choice, and it is especially egregious in the Democratic Party, the party of the people, that we start with a system that gives whoever the establishment candidate is a lead before it ever starts. But let me just say something about Sanders, about that campaign. I agree entirely with Doug just said. He needs to get on his themes. I mean, calling her unqualified was just a misuse of a word. She called him everything under the sun, and I just love the media. Oh, but she didn't use the word unqualified. It's like if I said to Doug, you're really an idiot and a terrible pollster.
You're finally being honest, Pat.
Right. But you know what? It's up to the voters to decide whether or not you're qualified. Really? I mean, this is the kind of stuff that this media bending over backwards to support her is doing, and it is all to push the voters out, and the voters on both sides are going to be in revolt.
I just want to throw in, I think there's a big debate Thursday night here in Brooklyn between Sanders and Hillary, and I think Sanders will take it to her, and I think this thing will tighten up again to single digits before it's over. And I think she's got trouble with African-American turnout in this primary.
But John, even if that's true, and it may well be, because I think there's a lot to that, because I think 16's a little much, but John, Pat, how can Sanders leave New York after the debate, go to Rome, Italy, to the Vatican? How can he do that?
He's getting a pseudo-endorsement by being there from a very left-wing pope. That's what he's going for.
Would you rather be in Brooklyn campaigning or in
I'm not Bernie Sanders. I don't want to be any part of any of it.
I don't grasp how you have a debate, and if you have what you say, I think a debate where he could really put her on the defensive if he would get tough enough. And particularly on the money, particularly on the transcripts of the Goldman Sachs speeches and her disingenuousness about all of that in character, and then get up and leave as opposed to following up that debate over 3 or 4 days.
It's an interesting question.
New York, he's going to Rome, Italy.
So you're making the point of why this really smells, it kind of looks like a faux fight for the Democrat side, right? I mean, because, you don't think so? Do you think he can scoop up some superdelegates?
Oh, that part.
No, but here's what I
exactly.
think. Here's what I think could happen, and I think this will go to the convention. I'm predicting if Sanders does what other candidates have done in the past, they will demand that the rules change on superdelegates as they should, and that they have to reflect the voters in their states.
Interesting.
And if that fight in his voters, remember, in this very poll we had, 54% of Kasich voters said they were either going third party or out or not vote if Trump was the nominee.
Who's the third
and
party?
40%, over 40% of Sanders voters.
There isn't a third party.
Well, they'll stay at
Michael
home.
Rain says on Twitter, what will happen if both political parties go to a contested convention? Do you think it will affect the markets and the economy?
It could well, Harris, and I'll tell you why. If Donald Trump comes up a bit short, which I think is entirely possible, despite the fact that he's well ahead in New York and Pennsylvania, and the Republicans seek to deny him the nomination, which I think will happen, his people will be in the streets. Bernie Sanders' people, who I think will be frustrated with a result which, notwithstanding an attempt to change the rules, will not work, they could be in the street. We could have a destabilized summer like 1968.
But the biggest thing, too, that I'm reading about is the fact that people will just be so soured they won't vote. And that doesn't help. All right, I want to get to this real quickly if we can. And it's how, if it is Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, how they both stack up right now in New York and Pennsylvania. Pop up those numbers. New York, 53 to 37%. You'll see Hillary Clinton leading that. But there's something, if they get them up, are they working on it? They're chiseling them backstage. There they are. Good. All right, now let's fast forward to Pennsylvania and look at this. Is this an outlier, do you think? These are brand new Fox News polling. Look at what's happening in Pennsylvania. What's going on there?
Well, it's the blue collar, the western Pennsylvania. Remember the people that the president said, oh, those people cling to their guns and their religion, right?
Yeah, we remember.
Those people are going to vote for Trump or Cruz or somebody against Hillary Clinton.
It's a very different state.
Let's talk real quickly just about where Donald Cruz is right now.
Donald Cruz?
Donald Cruz. Excuse me, Ted Cruz.
That's a ticket.
Freudian.
It's like when you mix the celebrities together, like Bradgelina.
Where are they now? Well, I mean, Trump is going to, he had a disastrous, as we discussed last week, showing in Wisconsin. It's a very understandable result given the kind of state it is. But you ended up with a lot of people saying they won't vote for him. Where they are now, both these candidates have general election problems. The AP poll this week, and there are some problems with it, but I won't get into, but it showed that half the voters would not vote for Hillary, would not vote for, and well over that again, would not vote for Trump, and over half wouldn't vote for Cruz either. What we have is an election where the candidates are managing to win primaries or collect delegates as Cruz is taking them out in different states. But they're not convincing the great vast majority of Americans who are not in the primary process that this has anything to do with them, and they're ticking off a lot of people in the process.
It's interesting. A lot of people don't tune in yet, and those who are choosing to vote, it seems like their votes don't count. We'll be right back.